What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry for the break. I took 2 weeks off. I was trying to get the Scarab Lord myself, and I'm very happy to say that I will be a Scarab Lord on my server. And the gates still aren't open for AQ, but there's a lot that I have to cover from these 2 weeks and from basically the biggest content drop in all of World of Warcraft history, for Classic, of course. That being said, today I want to cover exactly how Onslaught got their world first, well, I guess not world first because of the Asian servers, so like China got world first, but the Cthulhu kill. They did it in 38 minutes and they employed a lot of trash skips, so a lot of speedrun strategies that are going to be really useful for you guys to know about when you go in initially into your own AQ. If you haven't been there yet, or even if you have been there, you're going to want to know some of the trash skips as well, and just some of the strategies they use moving throughout this raid. As usual, when I talk about Onslaught, this is going to be something from Salv stream, who is honestly one of the best streamers. If you want to learn anything about min-maxing in general, speed runs, or even really just how to play Warrior, or just everything about classic WoW, he does an incredible job in his streams of answering a lot of questions, and if you haven't checked him out, you should. This run, when I was watching it, when they were doing the first clear, there was like 20,000 people watching, so if you don't know about him, you probably should. From there, let's get right into it, guys. Welcome back to the channel. I will be making a lot of videos very soon. My name is Sarth, of course. And if you like any of my content, make sure to like and subscribe. Come check me out on Twitch. I'm gonna be getting back onto Twitch this week from the break. And there we are. Let's do this. All right, so I fixed the camera angle a little bit, and the first thing I kind of want to talk about before we break down Onslaught's actual run, and I'm gonna actually watch it in 1.5 speed because the run does take forever and I don't want this video to be too long. So before I want to break that down was AQ as hard as we were expecting? And the answer is just unequivocally no. It was a lot less tuned kind of throughout the way that everything has come in Classic so far. So BWL was cleared in like 30 minutes, AQ cleared in 40 minutes, and then actually the other guilds like Rise the next day cleared it in 28 minutes. Although they did skip a lot of the bosses, there are a lot of optional bosses in AQ, and everybody's focus on this first run is to get their server first, or world first, or region first Cthulhu kill. The next thing really briefly is that on the Chinese servers on the very first runs, Cthulhu was actually bugged and he wasn't even eye-beaming until about 13 seconds into the fight. That was hotfixed that night so that everybody doing these past runs, or every run from now on, including the run we're about to break down, was an actual fixed version of Cthulhu. Now, like I mentioned, they did not go through this raid in the exact order that you can get to the bosses. They went through in the optimal order in order to completely kill Cthulhu faster. And Warcraft Logs itself has actually had a lot of polls to see if that should be included in speedruns or what trash skips you can use. But for now, this is our baseline, and that is that you just go straight through to Cthulhu. So you have to kill 5 bosses altogether, including Cthulhu: Prophet Scarum, Battleguard Sartura, Fangchris, Twin Emps, and Cthulhu. So that is the strategy that Onslaught and almost every one of the server first guilds is going to employ, and I would suggest if you are running for one of the top times in your server of killing Cthulhu to do the same thing. And lastly, one more thing I do want to mention before we watch the VOD is the question of, did we really need Nature Res and Nature Res gear? Everything is undertuned in here from the private servers, so everything is a lot easier than we anticipated. So Princess Huron can just be burned down. Although Viscidus does seem to be the actual challenging boss in here, actually wrecking Onslaught quite a bit. So you do want to have your Nature Res set for that. I would always be prepared for everything, but definitely have your Nature Res set on you in case you lose world buffs wiping, and then you might need to use it on Huhu, but just in case when you finish the raid and you go over to Viscidus, you will need Nature Res. Cool. Let's watch it. And then once again, this is from Salv stream. So if you haven't watched any of his streams, make sure to give him a follow or sub on Twitch. The first thing they really do is they waited for this pat, blew up the Eradicator. Look how fast it dies. I'm actually going to play it on normal speed first, these first few pulls, so you can see exactly how fast things are dying. It's kind of a joke. So the Eradicators do have a mechanic where they gain mana or they drain mana until they have full mana bars, and then they blow up and kill everybody for the most part. But this guy literally gets to 40% mana. It gets 2 mana drains off, and then it's blown up. Now, the Nubasath Sentinels, the next pull, is another thing that usually does have a lot of mechanics that you would have to worry about, and you have to decide on which one you're going to kill depending on what they are. There's a lot of RNG involved. But again, it actually turns out that the guild and anyone with world buffs and how we played today with a lot of raid-wide damage, you can just kind of blow them up. Although when you do kill one, they do all heal and gain the powers of the ones that just died. So you do want to choose the right order as well. And they do also, but look how fast those die. It really is a joke, just how simple it is. And I'm pretty sure in his stream, he actually right there said that it kind of was a joke. The trash is not as hard as we thought, although there still is a lot of it. So just be ready for that, guys. This is going to be a bit of a longer video, and I do apologize in advance, but we're just going to break it all down. Next, they go into the next group of the Sentinels. They choose this one, which was the Arcane Resistance and Arcane and Fire Resistance one. Pretty easy because they are melee heavy. If you look at the composition, you will actually notice that they are extremely melee heavy with mostly warriors, only 4 rogues, 2 hunters. They've got 4 warlocks, and the big thing for warlocks is going to be the tanking, but also warlocks can just be more useful in this raid. And they've got 5 mages, because mages now get to go fire and can actually do a lot more damage. Moving on to the Prophet, every time the Prophet splits, Prophet scare him, they just kill the ones that are not the actual boss. Here they're going to actually have to slow down on the DPS until the other one's dead, because that was the actual boss as it split, and they almost got it back to 50% before killing the actual copies or illusions of the Prophet. This boss, again, dies extremely fast, just like pretty much everything we're going to see in here, and it just goes to show that it's going to be a pretty simple fight. You do see that the person that was sheeped, I'll go back to it in a second here, the person that was MC'd was sheeped, stunned in case they got knocked out, and as well, I think you're going to see a scatter shot happen in a second. Yeah, and scatter shotted. So just to make sure that the MC'd person isn't killing people. Next, here's where the first speedrun strategy is, although this strategy will just change as people get mounts. But in this first pretty much month of AQ, most of your raid will not have mounts. You're going to have the person who rang the gong, possibly a second one if you have 2 Scarab Lords. So here he's going to equip Goblin Rocket Boots, and he's also going to equip Nifty Stopwatch. So just wait for it. He equips the stopwatch, and they keep moving, jump straight down, and just move on because they know exactly the direction they want to go. We're basically skipping bosses as much as possible. Here, you kill the Brainwasher first before moving on to the Guardians, and then we'll use our speed abilities. He actually makes a big brain play. He knew he was about to get knocked, so he goes in front of the Guardian to get knocked in the forward direction. Now, we use the Goblin Rocket Boots, and then he's going to use it into the Nifty Stopwatch just to move faster through this part. AQ is a huge raid. He's actually, going to use the Nifty Stopwatch after they try to skip some trash here. So just the Goblin Rocket Boots. They are going to pull the first pack of warriors, and their plan was to actually pull the second pack of warriors as well. When all of these warriors die, they spawn a ton of adds, the little borers, and the mages and warlocks can blow them up. Warriors can help as well. But the plan was to wait for the next pat of warrior mobs to come before they pulled that and tried to do their next skip. The issue is that the hunter doing this pull moved a little bit too close to this group. In AQ, a lot of the trash has massive aggro ranges. So with him moving too close to that group, he actually will pull it before he even notices. And people call out for him to feign, but it was a little bit too late. So you're going to see it happen in a second right there. He's not even moving. It's just too late. So now they have to kill the Guardian group. So what they're going to do is stack up all against the wall here, all of the melee, and blow up the guardians so they don't get knocked back too far. Next, they are going to do their skips, and it wouldn't be an Onslaught run, guys, without some flasks. Onslaught is the king of using flasks, and everyone is going to end up using flasks as well now. So the first 2 flasks of petrification are going to happen here. They were waiting for the next warrior group, but because of padding, they actually just decide to send one of their rogues, Wrens, just off to pull everything and then flask of petrification and run through. So they're trying to move towards Battleguard Sartora as fast as they can. They don't have mounts, so this is where they're going to use their nifty stopwatch. So just wait for it. You'll see as, I don't know, here we go. Wrens runs through as this group is in there, gets this group, sprints past. He's still moving and is going to use a flask of petrification. Now everyone else is going to start running as fast as they can just to make sure they get by before the flask runs out, but they still have time. And the next rogue actually does the same thing, pulls that next pack and does a flask of petrification as well. So that is Dustborn. So both of these guys are going to be out of the fight for Battleguard Sartora. And a lot of the time on Battleguard, on a slower fight, you do want more rogues to be able to stun lock the boss, even though the boss does have diminishing returns. But they move in instantly. They're sacrificing their rogues because this group is so good. They do want to have this all stacked up a little bit better. It would be prime so that they could cleave as well as Sapper even better, but I don't know what happened there. They kill these ads extremely fast anyways, so it's not really a big deal. And the whirlwinds on this fight are kind of what you have to watch out for, but I'm going to go back to normal speed here so you can watch this. Sartora is now whirlwinding. They're waiting to go in for the whirlwind to end so that they can start stunning. And then they're going to blow up the boss. They will blow this boss up. Boom. There is a stun on the boss. They're getting a kidney shot right there, a second kidney shot, and now they are just going all out. He does use Death Wish. They're not using Recklessness. They're saving that for Rag, but he uses Death Wish, and he's waiting here. Look at the damage he's taking, and now he's going to lip this, and so that you can stay in the rest of the time and then just kill the boss. They actually get one more stun off and then kill the boss before anyone really has to get out. The 2 people that did die are Dustbone and Wrens, and I think someone else died to something random, but they all have soul stones. Almost everyone in their entire group has soul stones already. And Dustborn and Wrens are the rogues that were doing the flask of petrification for the skip. Moving on, this next room is pretty much the suppression room for AQ, and all you need to do here, it's basically the gauntlet, right? So all you need to do here is keep moving and kill the drones. Every time you pull one of the blue ads, which is a soldier, what you're going to want to do is focus them down so you can stop moving, focus them down, and then continue to move on. They do have an aura that makes everything else attack faster, and they do aggro more things. So just every time you get one of them, mark it as a skull, blow it up, move on. It's a very simple version of the suppression room, and it is very, very straightforward. And if your group is slower, you lost world buffs, or your group is just slower on DPS, you can just move slower through here. But in an ideal world, you're literally moving pretty much the entire time. Actually, the entire time once we get to perfect speed runs. But for now, you can just stop, kill the soldiers, and then keep moving. Even then, there is a little bit of forward movement usually. Next up is Fankris, which is a boss they literally just go right into. And from everything we've seen so far, Fankris is one of the most underwhelming boss encounters there is. They literally just tank and spank. Their shamans, as you can notice, and druids were called to come in and add DPS to the boss. So they're actually coming in and DPSing, bringing all of the ads that spawn into the group, sappering them if they have it. And also, the big thing on this boss is usually a worm will spawn, and you want to kill that really fast before it enrages. But they killed the boss before one of the worms spawned. Although they did have a second worm spawn also after the boss, and kind of everyone watching didn't know if it was going to continue to spawn. which was a bug that happened early on in BWL with Razor Gore ads continuing to spawn, but that didn't happen. So this boss was literally a tank and spank with a little bit of ads. It is a very simple situation. Now they are going to move forward one more time, put on their rocket boots, because they are going to need to use them again. Although I don't think he got his on in time. Let's see. Yeah, he got his rocket boots on. So everybody actually right after Fankris is going to equip the rocket boots. He equipped his late, and it looks like a lot of people equipped theirs late. You can put your rocket boots on right after Fankris and use them for the crawler packs right there and then move forward. It's just pretty easy. The next boss is coming up is going to be Huhuran, but they're going to skip Huhu as well. They didn't know if there was going to be good enough padding or a range of things for them to be able to skip a lot of the trash, but ideally you do skip a lot of the trash. So in this trash pack, there are little mini Battle Guard Star Turas. So these Karaji Lashers, they do have that spin, and they accidentally pull 2 of these packs right here, which is a little scary if this was on private servers, but on the retail classic WoW client, with a melee heavy stack, you can kind of just blow everything up. Just be ready to lip. I would just always suggest that, and any melee or anyone in doing DPS or anything, just always be ready to lip. Lips are your best friend almost all the time. Next, they're going to skip that next pull right there on the left, as you saw, and they're going to move through. This is the Huhu room right here, and they're going to wait for padding to see if it's possible. So since this was the first run, they were just waiting to see if it was possible, and it is, with good padding, to skip this pack right there. They're going to move through and grab this one and just blow it up as usual and keep moving on. So trash skips are very common, and you can bet that Onslaught didn't even optimize all of their trash skips. A lot of people are going to do even better trash skips. Progress, Gussie, Rise, they all finished this raid like 10 minutes faster, finishing Cthulhu like 10 minutes faster overall for their time. There are going to be a lot more trash skips that are doable. Here is just the Anubisath Defenders, a very simple fight, and I will make a guide going over every single encounter in here, because everything does, or a lot of things have a lot of RNG, and a lot of mobs or trash packs can do different abilities, and you have to deal with them differently. Actually, on private servers, these destroyers have an insane aggro range, so they actually aggro before you could even shoot them with a hunter, but it's not happening in classic. So it's very easy to solo pull these. It used to be kind of a fear to accidentally double pull, and it happens quite often. So it's very easy to solo pull these. They can just move on, destroy this. I'll actually speed it up again so we can get through. I don't want this video to be too long, guys. It's my first video back. So a quick thing I should mention, yeah. As they reach 10%, if they have the explosion ability, then they are going to explode. They will become immune to melee, but it looks like with batching, you could still melee them for a few percent or a few seconds right after they hit 10%. So they actually almost get them down. They almost kill them before the explode even goes off a lot of the times. So you can see right here, they're down to 7.5%. But watch this next one. I believe this is the one they get really close if they don't finish it. So yeah, these mobs are less scary than they were on private servers. Everything is less scary than it was on private servers, as it seems. But you'll see right here, as it gets to 10%, they just literally kept meleeing it down. And then it became immune, and they just moved forward. So the same thing here, they just go to destroy it. Salv makes the call to move forward instead of running backwards on that explosion, which pretty much everyone should have done melee wise, but it doesn't really matter because they did have to wait for the range to catch up here anyways. But it's just kind of like a little bit of min-maxing where you can move forward instead of backwards on that last one, because you're not going to pull anything else. You're just moving into the Twin Emperor. Next, the interesting thing about Twin Emps, and actually I'm going to slow this down to normal speed. Actually I'll do 1.5 speed because this is a very long fight for them. The Twin Emps have a massive heal range. Massive. So look, they're healing right now. They're healing right now. Look how far he is, and they are healing. They just healed up to 100% pretty much, and they're continuously healing, still healing. Before they figured it out, that was 100%. Before they figured it out, I'm actually surprised that somebody didn't make that call out. The heal range for this fight between the bosses, or how far you need to keep them separated, is a lot further and larger than we expected. So just know that before going into this fight, guys, that you want to keep them extremely, pretty much against the wall, although you can use the diagonal strat as well. It depends on what your raid is doing strategy wise. But next I will move on. After Twin Emps is the infamous post Twin Emps trash, which is known almost worldwide as the roughest trash in this entire game. Each one of these pulls has the chance to kill a lot of your raid group. It could wipe the raid group if you don't play it well, but even with a really seasoned raid group, you could lose some people. And that is why, in an ideal world, you would skip as much as possible. This trash just takes so long, and it is just not a fun thing to do, especially if you have to do this every week and on splits and stuff. So Warcraft Vlogs is actually doing a questionnaire to see how much people want to count as without trash skips. Ideally, I think you could skip all of it as much as possible. You can't skip all of it. You have to get some, but as much as you can. They are waiting for padding to be able to move forward, and it's pretty much follow the leader here. Just move all at the same time. Watch out for padding and see what the aggro range is in Classic and go through with these skips. So next, they are going to move left, and you are going to stay left here. There's going to be the pack that you can't skip coming up, and so everybody is just trying to move forward as much as they can. Hide here while more pats move by until they can move forward again. There's the call. So you always want to stay clumped up. Follow your raid leader, guys, or whoever is making the actual call outs, because you guys need to stay together. Now, these trash, you can stay out for a while. Don't initially go in and try to kill this trash. This Mind Slayer is extremely dangerous. There's two here. So they're going to kill the normal Slayer and go into the back to kill the other Slayer. And those kind of got broken apart. They could probably be killed together. It's not really a big deal. Then the champion and the Mind Slayer is usually dealt with last. Melee don't want to be in there while it is dying, because it will disorient you for 6 seconds with basically like a terror or like a fear that you can't get rid of. So Melee usually want to get out, although he kind of ate it there. Let me slow it down to normal speed. So as this is dying, there also is a MC mechanic, so watch out for killing your friends. And everybody else took it there as well. Now, that is pretty much, those are pretty much the scariest trash packs. Like, absolutely the scariest trash packs in here. So this one is padding away, and they're going to wait. A lot of padding happens in AQ, a lot more than you would expect, and a lot more than most people are used to. There's a lot more RNG in the aspects of things, rather than you're going to know exactly what you're going into pretty much with every pull. And this pull has 3 Mind Slayers, as you can see, and these guys can also do a normal fear, so it is scary. They can do a lot of AoE damage, so they're just kind of terrifying, honestly. If you don't deal with them well, you're gonna lose some people. Next is going to be this 3-pack here, which has the Anubisath nullifiers, I believe. Yeah, nullifiers. And these guys are pretty much like the guy you saw at the very beginning. They do an AoE mana burn and suck up mana, and if they get to max mana, they blow up. But as we said before, they are super easy to just destroy. You can drain their mana if you need to, if your guild is really slow, but you can just kill them really easily. And the Noobsath Warder should have a lot of mechanics, but I think it bugged out on their run where they didn't actually have to deal with pretty much any of the mechanics. So the Warders can be a little bit intimidating as well, but it is that big pull that they just did that is the scariest pulls in here. So now they're going to wait for their person with the bug mount, anyone with their bug mounts, to go pull the next group, which is going to be the same thing. And he's going to pull it all the way back. They do have a tank doing that, so their main tank usually is going to do that because you probably will die before you get back to the group if you're not a tank. So bug mount in, pull those, run back, and then blow it up so that you can move on again. This is another warder, and we didn't really see much from them. Next is another one of the big pulls, but here is another one of their skips. Everyone is getting ready to skip, and their hunter is actually not going to pull this group on the right or left first. He's going for this group on the right. These groups are terrifying, and he's going to use another Flask of Petrification. So Raffle Shot is going to use, there you go, you can see it. He has him targeted. Flask of Petrification has been used. They're going to move forward to get this next nullifier group and take it down. So that was 3 Flasks of Petrification used from Onslaught to do skips, and the other skips were pretty much waiting for padding. They did accidentally pull 1 extra pull at least. Here, you're going to use your Goblin Rocket Boots, and you can also use Skull of Impending Doom. Yeah, he just put it on. You can also use Skull of Impending Doom here because this is just a long hallway. Usually, you'll mount up. Eventually, you're just going to have your mounts. Everyone's going to have your mounts. But for now, you don't really have that option. So speed items are extremely important if you want to get a really good time on this clear, right? And now they have done it, guys. They are on to Cthulhu, the big bad. And everybody was expecting Cthulhu to be a guild breaker almost. And it's not. They are going to one phase this, or Cthulhu has 2 phases, but 1 vulnerability it. So Cthulhu does start I-beaming as usual now. So the 3 I-beams on their tank initially, then they all move into position. They lost 2 people, Dustbone, oh, maybe 3. Bawa, Dustbone, and Shrek. I was going to say Raffle Shot from the Flask of Petrification, but he's not dead here. So they lost 3 people on the pull. The pull is the hardest part of this entire encounter. I do think he gets pushed by a claw tentacle almost into the I-beam, which is terrifying, but they kill it before or right after the first I-beam is done. So Cthulhu is not that scary, guys. If you have world buffs and normal or good DPS, obviously this is really good DPS, looking at people with 1000 DPS. If you have a strong raid composition and good DPS, then you're gonna destroy Cthulhu phase 1. Next, you move in, kill the claw tentacle. It died really fast. Right there, you see somebody getting sucked into Cthulhu's actual chest chamber or stomach, whatever. And I will, again, be doing a video guide breaking down every pull really in depth. And I'll probably do that on stream on Tuesday. So make sure to check out my stream as well, twitch.tv/Sarth. Now they're just waiting and killing mind flayers and anything that comes up, and they pushed the boss already. Look at that, guys. They haven't even gotten a second giant spawn. The ads inside of Cthulhu's belly, the tentacles, have only 80k health, so they're very easy to kill. I think min-maxing wise, it could have been, even though you can't really do damage to Cthulhu here, could have been smart if it's possible for them to gain rage by just auto-attacking and getting maxed rage before that happened, because he was just standing there, and a lot of their warriors were just kind of standing there. It would have been helpful to have full rage, but it's not really a big deal. Now Cthulhu is vulnerable. This is normal speed, and they are going to use their cooldowns. Recklessness, he doesn't even have Death Wish back up. It will come back up, and I don't think he will remember to use it or need to use it. Cthulhu's so close to being dead, he's using his rage in other ways. So Recklessness is popped, Blood Fury is popped, and Cthulhu is destroyed. 38 minutes later. And that is the run, guys. Onslaught crushing it, and they got the first kill outside of the China servers. So congratulations to Onslaught, congratulations to Salv. Awesome streamer as usual. Again, guys, you can check out his Twitch in the description. And if you don't watch any of his videos, definitely watch his stuff, or watch his streams. He's incredible if you want to learn things. If you have any questions or if there's anything I missed, definitely let me know. I'm going to be pumping out a lot of videos in these next few weeks, guys. I am fully back in full force, so thank you for tuning in. I know this is a little bit of a longer one, but this is the exact strategies that they use, these trash skips, and I didn't really break down in depth the actual bosses themselves, but they only kill 5 bosses, go straight for that server first, realm first, region first, Cthulhu kill, and the I-beam has been patched. Guys, you can all do this. The gates are going to open for everybody soon. I know a lot of the EU servers have them open before the NA servers. On my server, actually, it will be opening Friday morning at 8 o'clock, 8:20. So I will be on stream and running our server first run, hopefully getting our server first. So make sure to check out my Twitch as well, twitch.tv/Sarth. If you liked the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. And thank you guys for all tuning in. I will catch you all on the next one.